In the rugged hills and mist-covered valleys of southern France, a shadow once proud that defied explanation. Between 1764 and 1767, in the province of Gévaudan, peasants spoke in hushed terror of a creature unlike any they had seen before. It was said to be larger than a wolf, with reddish fur streaked with black, a gaping maw of teeth, and eyes that glowed with a feral light. For 3 long years, this beast struck fear into the hearts of an entire nation, its legend echoing far beyond the forests of Gévaudan. To many, it was not merely an animal, it was a monster, a punishment, perhaps even a demon sent to scourge a land already suffering under hunger, poverty, and war. History remembers it simply as La Bête de Gévaudan, the beast of Gévaudan. The stage for this terror was the old province of Gévaudan, today part of Lozère in south-central France. It was a land of dense forests, rocky highlands, and scattered villages, where farming families eked out survival from soil made hard by cold winters and poor harvests. Wolves were already a familiar menace. They preyed on livestock, sometimes even attacking isolated travelers. Yet the accounts that began to surface in the summer of 1764 spoke of something altogether different. In the commune of Langen, a young girl tending cattle was set upon by a creature that tore her apart with brutal force. Soon after, more victims followed, mostly women and children, those most vulnerable in remote fields and forest paths. What made the attacks unusual was not only their frequency, but the savagery with which bodies were mutilated. Rumors spread quickly. This was no ordinary wolf. Peasants described a beast with a long snout, enormous jaws, and a tail that lashed like a whip. Some said it had the size of a calf, with stripes or patches of color unlike any wolf of France. One parish priest wrote in alarm, "The beast is much bigger than a wolf. It has a chest as wide as a horse's. It leaps upon its prey, striking at the head and throat, drinking the victim's blood." In a deeply Catholic region where the supernatural was often invoked to explain the inexplicable, many began to whisper that this was not a creature of nature at all, but something born of sin or sorcery. Fear consumed Gévaudan. Families kept children indoors, fields went untended, and the toll of death rose steadily. By the end of 1764, dozens had been killed. The news spread far beyond the province, reaching Paris and the court of King Louis XV. The monarch, embarrassed that his subjects were being terrorized by a mere beast, ordered hunts to be organized. Noblemen led Batou's large-scale wolf hunts involving hundreds of peasants armed with pitchforks, muskets, and pikes. The forests rang with gunfire, drums, and shouting meant to flush the creature out. Yet each time the beast slipped away, only to strike again with uncanny precision. To the peasants, it seemed to vanish into the forests like smoke, as if mocking their efforts. The stakes grew higher when the church became involved. Priests declared that the beast was a scourge sent by God to punish the sins of France. In sermons, it was said that only repentance and prayer could drive the demon away. Fear mingled with religious fervor. Pilgrimages were organized. Villagers carried holy medals and rosaries when venturing out, believing divine protection their only shield. And still the killings mounted. In 1765, the king dispatched professional hunters to the region. Among them was Jean-Charles Marc-Antoine Vamarcel de Neville, a renowned wolf hunter, who arrived with his son and a pack of hounds trained to track predators. For months, they scoured Gévaudan, killing wolves but never the beast. Soon after, another royal gun-bearer, Francois Antoine, took command. In September of that year, his party killed a massive wolf near the Abbey of Chazes. The carcass was measured over 5 feet long, weighing 130 pounds. It was stuffed, paraded, and declared the beast of Gévaudan. Paris rejoiced. Francois Antoine was rewarded. The king considered the matter settled, but Gévaudan knew otherwise. Within weeks, the killings resumed. Victims were found with throats torn out and bones shattered. Whatever Francois Antoine had killed, it was not the monster. The peasants' cries rose louder than before. The king had failed them. The beast still lived. The climax of the terror came in 1767, after years of failed hunts and countless dead. The tide turned not through royal decree, but through the courage of local men. Chief among them was Jean Chastel, a farmer and innkeeper from the village of La Bessarre-Sainte-Marie. Chastel, who had once been jailed for dereliction of duty during the hunts, emerged now as a figure of grim resolve, armed with a special bullet bite. Legend blessed by a priest, he joined a final hunt in June 1767. In the forests of Montmouchet, Chastel took his stand. When the beast appeared, lunging from the undergrowth, he fired. The creature collapsed, mortally wounded. Witnesses swore this was indeed the beast, larger than any wolf, with features grotesque and strange. Its carcass was brought to the king's lieutenant, where it was described in detail before being buried. With that, the killings ceased. Gévaudan, after 3 years of blood and fear, breathed again. But the mystery endured. Was the beast truly a wolf or some hybrid predator? Was it multiple animals, not one? Or had fear and rumor woven a legend larger than reality? Naturalists who examined accounts later suggested that it may have been a wolf-dog hybrid, or perhaps an exotic animal, escaped from captivity. Others pointed to the possibility of serial killers using wolf attacks as cover. Yet the consistency of descriptions and the sheer number of dead, over 100 by some estimates, suggested a predator unlike any other. The aftermath left scars, both physical and cultural. Gévaudan remained marked by its tragedy, its villagers memorializing the victims in parish records. For France at large, the beast became a symbol of the crown's failure to protect its people. A shadow on the reign of Louis XV, the hunts, despite their grandeur, had been futile. In contrast, it was a commoner, Jean Chastel, who delivered the final Chaton act that resonated with a people increasingly aware of their own power in an age soon to see revolution. The legend of the beast of Gévaudan lived on in folklore, literature, and art. Writers such as Élie Berthet and later modern filmmakers retold its story, blending fact with myth. To some, it remains an allegory of human fear, the way communities confront the unknown, and the ease with which superstition can flourish in times of suffering. To others, it is a genuine zoological mystery, one that still sparks debate among historians and scientists alike. In Gévaudan today, statues and plaques recall the beast, drawing visitors to a land once haunted by terror. The legacy of the beast is not merely one of fear, but of memory, the memory of a people who faced the unexplainable, and whose story has become part of the cultural fabric of France. It stands as a reminder of the fragile line between nature and myth, between predator and monster, and perhaps most of all, it reflects the eternal human impulse to explain the darkness that stalks at the edges of our world. This has been a journey into the shadowed forests of 18th century France, where fact and folklore intertwine, and where a bestial or imagined once shook the foundations of a province and challenged the power of a king. Stories like this require painstaking research, careful retelling, and respect for the people who lived them. If you value high-quality historical storytelling, consider supporting the creation of such work, so that the voices of the past, of kings, peasants, or those claimed by monsters, may continue to be heard.